This is the best of the wrap-up show. A recap and behind-the-scenes look with Jon Hein and Gary Dell'Abate. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
On Monday's show, we talked about the fact that Steve Langford wouldn't come into the studio in the morning and whether this was going to affect his reputation and his credibility and whether it made him a hypocrite or not. Here's how it went.
I want to start with what happened with George, and I guess Richard wanted him to officiate. Is that the right word? Officiate the
Yeah, that would be about right.
And I guess he told Will this, and Will had told Howard, but it was news to George.
Right.
And George is such a sweet guy. Just he would do anything for anybody here. He is one of the family. But Howard wasn't too pleased about that coming up, although Richard and George do have a personal relationship. But that bled over to what happened with Steve Langford, where I guess his daughter interviewed George for some kind of project. And Howard drew the line. He's like, I don't want people bothering the guests. And where was he going with that, one, Gary? And two, why didn't Steve Langford come in and defend himself?
Well, the first part, Howard has always said, I don't want people bothering the guests, and it doesn't matter how high or low you are on the food chain. You know, I remember the first, like, Howard used to say, I don't want people taking pictures with the guests. I want guests to be able to come up here and not be asked for autograph, not be asked for pictures. And then there was a weird thing going on where Jackie would have the day's guest autograph one of Jackie's jokes, and we put a stop to that. And then it was, everything from, Grillo calling Sherry Lansing looking to get acting work to, John talking to stockbrokers, and Howard's just like, leave my people alone. So, I mean, that's sort of the rule. Don't bother people who are on the show and ask them for favors.
But sometimes I guess you cultivate personal relationships with the people who are on the show. And Howard could look at it and say, everybody you basically talk to, you specifically, Gary, is as a result of him.
Like everything on the show, because people call and complain all the time, there's hard and fast rules, except there's different rules for everybody on the show. So I'm sure there's more latitude for Robin being friendly with a guest outside the show than there would be for, say, Jason. But as a general rule, Howard doesn't like the guests being bothered. Howard feels everything's a bother. So he feels like when you ask somebody something that it's a bother to them. And listen, it's his show. It's totally his prerogative. And maybe it is a bother. Like maybe George is too nice a guy to say, I really don't want to do that.
Do you think Steve made a mistake not coming in today?
Huge, huge tactical error on Steve's part.
Why is that?
Because he paints everybody into a corner and explains to you why they have to answer his questions. Steve should have come in and just sort of said, hey, I agree with you, I made a mistake, or I disagree with you, and here's my argument. But how is what Howard was saying about Steve Langford any different than the argument between Steve Brandano, Steve the intern for the purposes of this, so everyone remembers. Remember Steve Brandano went to an event and his girlfriend at the time was there and he said he didn't want her interviewed?
That's right.
And Langford goes, it's part of the story. What's the difference?
And, well, another thing about that, Howard wasn't looking to talk to Steve's daughter or family there. He wanted to talk to Steve. And I guess when family comes up, all of a sudden you want to sort of change things.
What happens is when you have a big sensitivity to it, it's at that moment you have to decide whether you're going to go in or not, and then you sort of dig in and hold your ground. And Steve's got to come in sooner or later.
How did he react when you went back to get him?
I called Steve. Jason called Brad, and he said, "Yeah, Steve's here." So I said on the microphone, "Steve will be here any minute." And then all of a sudden I noticed it's a 30-second walk over here. So a minute and a half went by, and I said something's wrong. So I got up out of my chair and I walked over there, and I said to Brad, "What's going on?" He goes, "He's not coming in." And I'm like, "What?" I couldn't believe it because it's just not Langford. So I walked over, and Langford put up his hand and he said, "Listen, his daughters are off limits. My daughter's off limits." And I was like, "But Steve," and he's just like, he didn't want to hear it. So I just came back and reported it because I figured I'll let Howard handle it tomorrow.
Well, like you said, eventually he's coming in anyway. So now, I mean, does it make him a hypocrite?
Yeah, I think it does. I really do. I like the guy. I can like a guy. And I think his news stories are amazing. But yeah, it's a hypocritical of him not to show up today on this count.
Rich in Pennsylvania, welcome to the Wrap-Up Show.
Hi, guys. Hey, I want to talk about Langford. Gary, I think you're right. He's lost all credibility. Now when he comes in, what he did to Jenks, painting him into the corner, all Jenks has to do, all any of you all have to do from now on is say, let's talk about your daughter interviewing George. And he's got no credibility, none whatsoever anymore. He just wussed out like a big puss.
I want to know how old he is. I want to see his birth
I
certificate.
I don't care how old he is. He acted like a 4-year-old. Oh, you can't talk about that. He talks about everybody else's problems. Even after they tell him not to, he'll go right in after it. So
I think it's going to end up being one of those things where he even now, if he's listening to this, he probably thinks to himself, you know what, I should have just gone in and dealt with it because it's just gotten bigger than it has to be.
Well, you know, guys, when he starts, it's going to happen. He's going to bust somebody's balls on something, and it's going to come before Howard, him, and whoever. And I can just hear it. I can hear it's almost like you can write the dialogue. He's going to be busting on you. Hey, let's talk about George, your daughter, in the interview. I can hear it coming.
I don't think Howard's going to press him too much about it tomorrow, but you're right that other people probably will.
Well, it's a guy who seems Teflon that's now exposed a sensitivity, and when people want to fight, that's what you go for.
And maybe he was hoping that, okay, I'll sit back, Howard will blast me on the air right now, a day passes, it blows over, it's not as big of a deal, Howard's ready to move on to the next thing, so the damage is a lot less.
Or he'll get rid of his daughter.
Well, that's not going to happen, but I do think, I forgot which one of you guys said it, though, a lot of people are going to definitely keep this bullet and wait,
right,
and they're going to use it when they get the chance. Thanks for calling in there, Rich. Eddie in Pennsylvania, you're on the wrap-up show. Hey, Eddie.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hello, yes. I just want to voice some support for Steve Langford. I think Howard should have called him aside after the show and found out the whole deal with family. I agree with Steve. If Howard's kids are off limits, so is Langford's daughter till he knows exactly the circumstances.
But we know what the deal is. There's nothing special in there, and we weren't going to talk about. Howard wasn't going to ask him anything about his kid except to say to Steve. In other words, without going into Steve's family life, I'm pretty sure his daughter didn't say, "Oh, I'm a huge George Takei fan. Let me interview him for my school project." So Howard probably would have explored how did that come up and why were you getting involved in it, and that has nothing to do with his daughter.
I just think, to me, it's just the father doing something he could for his kid. If he did overstep his bounds, I would have approached him first because it involved a child myself.
But okay, but that's a great.
You can,
but that discussion can be had on the air without bringing the daughter into it in any way that's going to expose any more than what we already know.
And Eddie, I also think if Steve hadn't had the track record of talking to different people on the show with different circumstances, this wouldn't be as big of a deal. But that's not the way it is.
Yeah, and I said to Howard. Howard said, "How did this?" We talked about this during the because Will did the notes. And Howard goes, how did Langford even get to him? And I said, I think he spent a week with him, traveling around with George. I'm sure they developed some sort of friendship, but Howard wasn't. He wouldn't buy in that.
All right, thank you, Eddie. Jenks, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's Jenks. This whole Langford thing, I talked to him back in his office, and he said he doesn't answer to Howard. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where he gets off saying that. How does he get off not answering to Howard on this issue? He gives it to everybody else, but when it's his turn to get it, he doesn't take it.
Jenks, don't you, Gary? Steve is scheduled to do the news update tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, he'll answer to Howard tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm going to call in tomorrow and to remind Howard to ask Steve Langford about this, and I encourage anybody who's listening to the show to call in and ask Howard to remind Steve Langford about this.
By the way, so Steve will sit and talk to you on the phone?
Yes. Well, sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But I called mercilessly this morning because I knew that he had to go in the studio, and he finally did answer, and he said he doesn't answer to Howard. I don't answer to Howard.
Here's the problem for Steve. Jenks, how many times did you call me or email me this morning with suggestions about how this should be handled?
Probably 10 or 20.
Exactly. The first email was at one point. The first email was, "This is bullshit." The second one is, "You better get Langford in." The third one is, "Langford has to come in and repeat." Then it was a phone message, and there were more emails, and that's just Jenks.
Gary, I was really upset, man. I was furious.
I could tell.
How did he get away with this?
Well, Jenks,
wait. Are you upset about what he's accused of doing, which he said getting the interview, or are you upset that he wouldn't talk to Howard?
No, you figure it this way. When Langford calls somebody on the carpet with a news story, okay, they are expected to come in and answer to Howard for it or talk about it to Howard. How does Langford get to put his hand up and say, "Point taken"? What if everybody did that every time Langford wanted to interview them?
But people
put
can't.
Their hand up and said,
Jenks, you make a very fair point. You're going to get your answer tomorrow morning.
On Tuesday's wrap-up show, George Takei came in and he told us, we found out that I guess they basically have an agreement where Brad doesn't listen while George is on, and George talked about that. George discussed kissing one of the guys on the show, and we talked about Governor Ventura and I having a nice, friendly discussion in the hall.
Now joining us, and he's always gracious enough to do this every time he comes in, is the Stern Show announcer, Mr. George Takei. And George, you're back again, and in the mix with Brad's weight, and your relationship seems to come up quite a bit whenever you do the Stern Show.
Doesn't it? And it's a good thing that Brad doesn't listen in when I'm on. He is addicted to this show, but he refuses to listen in when I'm on because... Well, he has given me free reign. He says that's the way the show works, but he doesn't like to hear what I have to share when I have free reign.
When did that start?
From the very beginning.
Right from day one,
Day one, he would not listen when I'm on. And he gets it from, there's that guy who writes capsule synopsis of what happened, and that's how he finds out about it.
But you've gotten some crap once in a while in the past. How does he find out about stuff like that? You know, like your bachelor party? Like, how did he find out about that?
Well, that was written about.
Right.
And then other people email him, too. So
See, I'm telling you, being in a gay relationship is just like a marriage relationship, because sometimes people email my wife and tell her shit I did on the show.
George,
How, just like regular people.
George, how would Brad react if he heard about that innocent kiss that you and Benjy had today? Would he know that it's part of the show, or would he be a little upset?
He would know it's about part of the show, because we go to parties or we meet other gay couples and we greet them with a kiss. I mean, it's part of,
But not an open mouth kiss.
Well, actually, George, Brad just went on your Twitter account.
He did?
He said he knows about the Benjy kiss, and Sunday is off. Off with capital letters.
Well, then I'll try for Monday.
It's a good thing you weren't with a model, or it could have been the whole month of May.
See, Benjy? See what you did?
Sorry, man.
You're too cute.
Did you guys connect at all during that moment? Did you see something in each other's eyes?
I saw him pull back right away. I mean, I felt him.
No, I didn't connect in a sexual. I like George a lot, so.
And I like you.
Thanks.
You got beautiful eyes.
Thank you.
So
he's embarrassed.
Look at him. He's blushing.
Beat red.
Hey, Ronnie, while we had you here, beforehand, when we were talking, I told Benjy about this. You said what Benjy did today with Jesse Ventura, that's not a rare occurrence. He does that all the time.
He does it. He does it as a thing for TV, I think. And, when I tell him a lot of times, I'll say to him, like, Benjy, go away from the guests or whatever, and he'll just look at me and he'll smile and he'll just keep on doing it. And I think he thinks I'm picking on him, but Benjy doesn't realize that I do work for Howard, and Howard does have certain rules, and I do abide by those rules that he asked me to to enforce. And we had the same problem. Can you let me talk?
I didn't know you worked here.
Could you let me talk?
I didn't know you worked here.
When Richard and Sal, we had the same problem with more Sal than Richard.
I didn't recognize you. I'm sorry.
He used to do the same thing.
I thought you were just some guy in the hall.
Howard got upset about it too, and I used to tell Sal, and he also used to ignore me about it. And then until Howard blasted him, then he realized that he wasn't really supposed to be doing this stuff.
So do you think Benjy will continue to ignore you now after what happened today?
It came to the point when Howard really blew up today, and I don't think Benjy realized how mad he was, but he really was mad. And I don't think Benjy realized how mad he was about the whole thing. I mean, I know you yelled back at him. I don't know with you. You never know if it's shtick or you're serious, because that's the problem with you. Nobody ever knows the real Benjy. That's the problem. And it was the whole thing with being late for work and the whole thing. It was the same thing. Nobody ever knows what your deal is, Benjy. That's the whole problem.
Okay.
The only thing odder than the talkative Benjy is the quiet Benjy.
Yes.
George, or the other Benjy, the
make out with you one?
No, the resistant and defensive and
George,
somewhat hostile.
But
Benjy.
if someone's mad at you for something that didn't occur or occurred in a way, and it's being painted in a much different way than it occurred, you would want to explain yourself. Like if there was $20 on the table,
and you grabbed it, and someone's like, wow, George stole that money, and you were like, no, actually, Brad told me he left me this 20. You would want to explain it before getting yelled at that you stole the money.
Did you see how Will handled it? You know, when Howard would say...
when Will messed up the oatmeal.
Right. And he said, you're right. Yes, you're right. But and he was not resistant. And in this situation
I think it's okay. Listen, I think it's okay to be resistant when you're being, when you're being mistreated. I think it's okay
it was a reasonable desire on the part of Howard to say, the guests are here for
what I said. Howard does not need to be reasonable. That if he decides something, if he wants us to walk on one foot or hop through the hallway, and that's part of construction. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
that's reasonable. It's reasonable if Howard wants it done and that's a condition of working here. What I was saying was I thought I went through what are considered the appropriate steps before I did it.
Hey, it's Sal Governale, and on Wednesday's wrap-up show, Jason Ellis was on talking about George Takei fondling his junk. And speaking of junk, I was talking about gazing at some cock in the gym room. Now, it was strictly a gazer, and it was for statistical reasons only. That makes sense. Check it out.
I know that you're a huge fan of the show, and I know that you probably labor over coming on the show the way Howard labors on going on Letterman.
Oh, for sure.
Like on a day like today, do you walk out of there, you hit a home run?
No.
Because you did.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit a home run today, right? Everybody agrees? I mean, everyone loved it too, but do you not know that when you walk out of there?
No, this time I felt like I did better than the last time, but as soon as I walked out, I started critiquing what I didn't say.
Well, what do you feel? What did you miss? What do you feel you missed?
I just feel that I was a little stressed and less humorous. I felt like there was a lot of, I have a lot of things that just come flying out that are just funny that none of those came out. I just did the torture the dick thing.
Now, Jason, when George comes over to take off those clamps,
it wasn't even that. It was before that.
Like when Howard
was on the other side and he started talking to me. There was a thing there where I'm like, all right. I'm cool with that, but I know people that aren't cool with that because you're straight up fucking flirting with me. Like, I've had penthouse pets in my studio. Every now and then they'll give you that look where I'm like, well, that's very flattering. You know what I mean? I really appreciate that. And George was giving me that before he even came around. Like, he was shaking a little bit. I'm like,
his eyes aflutter a bit.
Yeah, but I thought I'm having fun.
It was fun.
Of course.
You had somewhat of a chubby though after he caressed your penis.
I was trying to get it bigger, because I kept stretching it. Good. I want gay people to want to suck it. Is there something wrong with that?
No, go ahead.
I want everybody to want it.
You want a gay man to suck your penis?
No, I want.
I don't think a straight man would. That makes sense.
I want everyone to want to suck my cock except my friends, because it's like when you go in a locker room. Like I'll change with random dudes and their dick can come out, but I ain't fucking changing with Bubba Booey over here. Like now that I know you, I don't want to see your dick in the locker room.
Does it bother you if a guy
change and then I'll come
if a guy waits in the locker room just to see your cock?
Who does? What? Is that you? Is that what you do?
The guy sitting right over here.
No, I don't
you
do that.
watch cocks?
No, I don't. I glance.
You're a cock watcher in the gym?
I glance out of curiosity.
I will fucking kick you in the face.
Really quickly explain to Jason
when
what
I'm in Jason.
Yeah.
When I'm in the locker room, you just said that.
What is it?
When I'm in the locker room.
You're not really trying to tell me a story that's true, are you?
Not the way they're putting it. It's out of context.
In any way
it's
at
out
all?
of context. So
okay.
No.
Put it in your words.
The curiosity factor. I just joined the gym. I've never worked out in my life, as you could tell. And I just joined the gym. And when I'm in the locker room, a lot of men have a tendency to get naked. So now I'm trying to fulfill my curiosities as a man. For example, there's a guy who's mentally challenged, a retard, and his dick was small. And usually retarded people have big dicks.
I would want to see a retarded dick.
Okay. Secondly, there was an Asian. I try to fulfill that curiosity.
Right.
You would think it would be.
Wait a minute. Were they all in the locker room at the same time?
No,
naked?
these are all different.
How long were you there waiting for the entire race of dick to come in?
Okay, good question.
A month.
Yeah,
right.
You've been doing this over the period
of research.
like a month.
I hope you filmed it.
I wish I could. I tried to take pictures, but I knew they would throw me out. I did take my BlackBerry out, but I'm like, nah, I'm crossing the line here. So I saw an Asian with the normal sized dick, thinking it would be small. I saw a retard with a small dick, thinking it would be big. And I seen a guy like you, actually, a real buff guy, who I was hoping. Now here I am changing.
You're hoping you had a little dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it, he dropped the towel, and I was so deflated.
It was a really bad moment. It's like scratching a lottery ticket. And, on the third one, you can win $1 million, and it's just like a fucking potato. Like, fuck.
You never know.
And I was pretty disappointed the whole day for that one. Well, the whole day at the gym. So that's what I do. I'm not on a mission. I don't go into a locker room and look for dick. I'm not the Jacques Cousteau of penis. I go in there, I get in and I get out, and I happen to see a certain nationality. I fulfill my curiosity.
And his last one was a black guy who he waited and waited.
I did
and
wait
waited,
for the black,
but he didn't pull his.
There was a
pants
cliffhanger on the show.
See, waiting for the dick.
Wait, that's right.
That's
wrong.
Even though they didn't say it was a long time, but if you see a guy come in and you wait until his pants come off to see the size of his dick. You are way gay.
He went to go.
No,
I didn't wait.
He did. Well, hold on. He saw a black guy at tidy whities, and he went over to where the guy was blow drying his hair because he thought that maybe he'd be able to see.
No, I went to blow dry my hair. Well, I saw the guy, and based on the cliffhanger here, Jason. Last time we spoke, Gary goes, "Did you see any black dick yet?" I go, "No, not yet." But I got to see my first black guy in the gym, in the locker room. I'm leaving. So I'm on my way out. I go, wow, a black fella here. So
you were on the way out?
I was on the way out.
If you didn't work for this fucking radio show, I would call the cops.
Hold on. Again, it's a cliffhanger. Gary asked, so I saw the black fella.
Don't make it sound like you had to stay.
I didn't.
It's the obvious cliffhanger.
Wait. He's making it sound like he had to go back so he could come report to me. You know what I mean?
No,
you're the gay
I
one.
believe that.
No
I believe
one told
that.
you to do this.
No,
this is your
I believe
curiosity.
You did. That's why I think
my
it's
curiosity.
okay. That's what I'm saying. I believe you did it, research to tell the story and tell Gary.
It's like your obsession with the show. Like you walked out and critiqued yourself. When Gary asked me last, he goes, "How about some black dick?" I go, "Haven't seen one yet." Saw the black fella, put on the brakes, hit the blow dryer,
I get it.
Try to finagle my eyeballs a little bit, and he put on his sweatpants, so I messed up. But
I get it though.
Stay tuned, everybody, in the wrap-up show. We will eventually find out.
It's really Gary's the perverted one.
Maybe
He's using
Can't
you to
you
get
just
the
do a
information.
show? Can't you just do a segment where you get random people to come in and guess their size and just get them all to drop it?
We could do that, yeah.
Well, then you can just nip it in the butt instead of being creepy at your gym.
Yeah, why don't you make it a Howard 101 special, so where you critique dick?
Yeah.
I don't want to critique it, but again...
Do you want to come on my show, and I'll do it on my show today? I'll just get like a bunch of... Anybody wants to come in and pull their dick out.
But Jason, the
dick
point,
frenzy.
The point is, it doesn't have to happen for a show. He's doing this in his gym. I mean, this is just...
but I believe he's doing it for research and development for the show.
I am, and wait, well, I said it fulfills my curiosity.
You don't think, Gary? You don't think?
Look,
I think he wants to know.
Do you think if he fired him, he would continue to do it?
Yeah, I do, because I think he wants to know.
I think we all want to know. I think every man. No, I do.
Okay,
I
you
do.
fucked yourself.
No, I didn't.
Nobody wants to
we
know
all want to
everybody's
know.
penis size.
I'm telling you, we all. When Steve Brandano takes a fucking piss, and if there's a guy next to him, and he has the opportunity to get an eighth of a glance just to see if he's holding up in the society of men, he's gonna do it. That's us. We're men. We measure up. We measure our biceps against biceps, our chest against chest, and our cocks against cocks.
I think it's only for insecure penises.
Well, I'm insecure. Look at it. It looks like an aardvark. It's a disaster.
On Thursday's wrap-up show, we talked about George Takei and the fact that he started off the morning thinking of Jason Ellis and jerked off to him. And would there be any complications with Brad? What does it mean? And how blind George's love seems to be for Jason Ellis. And then we all talked about what would happen in our relationships if something like that happened. And I don't think we can pull off what George pulls off. And here's that conversation.
I want to talk about what happened at the very beginning of the show, where George talked about what he did in the shower this morning, and basically, and you guys correct me if you think I'm wrong, proclaimed his love, admiration, I'm not sure of the right word, for Jason Ellis. And he said he spoke about it with Brad.
You're being too nice. He said he jerked off in the shower this morning thinking of Jason.
Well, that's another way of putting it, much more succinctly. But I guess... do they have the relationship where it's comfortable enough that those kinds of things can happen? Or do you think that there's more bad news for George around the corner? He just doesn't know that it's coming.
Well, let me ask you a question. I think Mutt started to bring this up a little bit, that they were going to talk about this on Superfan tonight. If you spent the whole week, right, sitting in there talking about that you thought your wife was fat and that she could stand to lose some weight, and then at the end of the week, a really hot girl came in and you just started squeezing her naked tits, would you be able to go home?
I wouldn't have a wife. I seriously, and I wouldn't blame her. Like, that's, and I think...
So maybe they do have some special arrangement.
I think they do. I mean, Stacey said, when she was talking about relationships, she said that maybe Brad's weight is his passive-aggressive way of telling George that, you know what, I'm going to be this way because, he's kind of fighting back in a subtle way. Or maybe everything's just smooth between them. It's hard to tell. What do you think, Ronnie?
Well, it's not the first time he's touched a cock on the show.
That's true. But
I guess they do... They've had an arrangement, obviously, before Brad's weight came up.
But George was like, listen, what I did yesterday was I just touched it. I didn't, he sort of insinuating that because he didn't do more about it. I guess it could be, a guy saying, hey, I felt the girl's tits. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, but Gary, remember the day the guy was in here with the 12-inch cock and he had his hand down?
Well,
he had that look on his face like if I had my finger up some girl's ass or something.
But isn't that like for years, girls have been coming in here, guys have been feeling them up. Isn't just touching a dick the gay version of that?
I don't know. I can't define that. I'm not in that position.
Yeah, but a lot of guys don't do that anymore. Like, you don't do it anymore, do you?
No.
And I'm sure, that's because of your wife, right?
Well, she didn't like it, and I started to feel a little dirty doing it. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it's a kid's thing, even though I have boys. When you have kids, I start to feel a little creepy doing it.
And John, have you ever done it in here?
Not on the show, no. Well, not
How about
on
off
the show either. No.
Yeah, John.
John doesn't.
I got to be in the green room.
Not on the show.
Bad answer. No, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I think it's disrespectful to my wife.
Would you have done it when you were single?
When I was single?
Yeah.
Sure. But I don't think a lot of people are doing it these days, right?
And Howard stopped.
Howard stopped. He said out of respect to Beth, I think. Ronnie, how about you?
Have you seen me do it?
No, but next time
I haven't been in there.
But if
I've been in there with a flashlight to put them under the check for implants.
Right. But there's a difference between that.
I've held them up and put the flashlight on
like the one that I remember.
I'll do it. Bring somebody in here right now. I'll do it.
I can't remember the girl's name, but it was back at terrestrial radio. She had that funny, real New York accent, and we all said we didn't believe she had real tits. And the line was ridiculously long.
I remember that.
I think Wood Yee was on the end of the line.
That was the clown car line, right?
That's when I was the last one, I think, to go in with the flashlight to test them.
Well, who usually leads that charge?
Well, DePace has always said to me his wife doesn't care and he can do whatever he wants. But he hasn't been in there in a while. But he says it's no big deal. Pam doesn't care. I don't know who leads that charge.
Usually it used to be, I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, I think the difference here, getting it back to George, is not only is George touching him, but the way he's referring to he's literally gushing over, this guy. And if you're married to George, Gary, would it bother you?
I would think so. Listen, if my wife went to what are those Chippendales, and she was jamming her hand down a guy's pants, and even though she was laughing, she was grabbing a dick, I'd probably be pretty annoyed.
This is the best of the wrap-up show. A recap and behind-the-scenes look with Jon Hein and Gary Dell'Abate. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
Hey, on Monday's wrap-up show, the shit hit the fan, and myself, Benjy, and Scott Salem all had to defend ourselves about who left a big giant stink in the bathroom. Then later Tracy came in to give a whole state of the bathroom update about what's going on in there and the current conditions inside our bathroom. So check it out.
First, we have to start with this bathroom controversy. Now, Gary, I thought there was an edict that no one should be taking a crap in that bathroom to start with.
Well, there is, but you're on the honor system. It's like West Point here. You're on the. We always said that you're not. Howard said, "I don't want people taking a crap in there," but I think some people, probably like Jason, have said, "Does that count for off days or when the show is long over?"
It's a fair question. I don't know. I just remember when that thing with Sal went down last time. It was like nobody was supposed to take a dump.
Well, I have a question about recently, like within the last 6 months recently, Howard gave Ross Zapin permission to use the bathroom specifically to take dumps.
Was it specific to that?
That was his thing. I can't take dumps in the public bathroom.
That's the Ross corollary, Jason.
What's up?
That's the Ross corollary.
What I'm saying is
it's a butterfly effect.
I have never been aware of a total shitting ban in the bathroom. I've heard no shitting during the show, which I don't have time for anyway.
But why would you do it? Like, why even take the chance, knowing that it's going to eventually get back to you, or
I didn't
could
think,
get back to you?
I didn't think there was a chance. I didn't think I was taking any sort of risk using the bathroom in the way that you're supposed to use the bathroom.
Well, who lodged the complaint? Was it you, Gary?
Me. I will tell you, here's what happened. I went in there, and I hit the wall.
Oh, wait, I thought
Because-
Benjy.
No. I went in there, and I hit the wall. Howard told the story wrong. I went in there, and I hit the wall, so I got the log. But what happened was, as soon as I came out after I hit the wall, I walked in, and I go, somebody just stunk up the bathroom, at which point Benjy got all freaked out. And he goes, I was just in there. I smelled it. It was not me.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So, because I thought the way it was put out on the air was that Benjy, the way I heard it on the air this morning is that Benjy walked into the bathroom, was so knocked out by a smell, he came and immediately alerted you.
No, it's the other way around.
It's the other way around. So
then I asked Tracy, I said, Tracy, I know this sounds crazy, and this is my own nuttiness, but can you get me the log for the last half hour who was in the bathroom? She goes, let me see. So she put it on my desk, and I looked at it, and I saw that you were only in there for 3 minutes, so I figured it was either you or Scott.
Now, again, let me explain. Maximum 3 minutes, meaning from the time I used my key card to go into the bathroom till the time Benjy walked in.
Wait, Jace.
Meaning I could, hold on a second. Meaning I could have been in there for 30 seconds, left and had nothing happen for another 2 minutes till Benjy walked in. The absolute max amount of time, like Benjy would have been waiting for me outside the door when I opened it.
Was 3 minutes and 9 seconds.
Thank you.
Jason's
but Jace,
working
you
on his
do
defense,
remember
clearly.
when I walked in? Do you remember me like, what the fuck? Like as you were walking out?
No, I don't.
Well, here's something. Did you smell anything when you were in there?
I don't remember. I've been in that bathroom
because you don't remember.
Horribly. Yeah, I've been in that bathroom where it smelled horribly before. I've been in that bathroom where I've said something to people before. I can't imagine. My guess is that since I only spent a maximum of 3 minutes in there, if I went in there to shit and it smelled that bad, I probably just walked right out. But I've walked in there and smelled horrible things before. I've just never said anything about it. But I will be reporting on everyone's bathroom now.
If you were the defecator, listen, it is a bathroom, so that happens. But when I walked in, same as Gary, it was like, what? Oh my god!
But my whole point is,
and you're like,
I've walked into shitty smells before. Yeah. This one was so bad it made me go investigate.
My point is, it apparently wasn't so bad that it stopped Benjy from staying in there.
I peed. I did pee.
According to you, again, to play Benjy on you for a second, we're taking your word for everything.
You're right. You're absolutely. There's no. I agree with you. However,
have you taken a dump in there before?
I don't. It's possible in the 6 years we've been here after the show's on. I don't think so.
Recently?
Because no.
Can you prove you didn't take a dump in there last
I don't
Wednesday?
think I can prove that. But however, exactly. I'll say just to explain it. I would prefer to go to the public bathroom because it's less pressure. It's just to me.
Then why are you always in this one?
To pee during the show.
But you are in this one a lot. I mean, I like everybody.
Yeah. But the public bathroom, it's like I want to sit down and I want to relax and I don't want like pressure of people need to go in there.
All right, Jason's trying to put it on Benjy, but
I'm
while
not
you
trying
two,
to put it
hold on,
on
but Jace, you've
wait,
also
Benjy,
said,
while you two are going back and forth, Scott Salem is sitting here silently, and when we started the show,
I'm just listening.
Gary,
I love it.
Gary said that all signs point to Scott.
And I only say that because I don't think that Jason could have done what he needs to do in 3 minutes and 9 seconds.
But you don't even know how long I was in there.
He may have done it.
No,
I know, and that's his stupidity because he's being honest.
But he's
what
saying,
am I going to do? Lie and say I don't take a shit at work? All you guys are lying.
But
I know you shit at work. I know you shit at work.
I absolutely did not.
I know you shit at work.
Jason, I did not. I know for a fact.
I don't believe you.
Not in that bathroom.
I don't believe you, Ben.
Scott Salem, can you emphatically tell me that you're absolutely positive that you did not shit there on Wednesday?
Yes.
You could remember last Wednesday.
Yes.
You remember last Wednesday well.
Then why wouldn't you swear on your son's life?
That's not necessary, but I didn't, and I told you.
But if you 100%,
it's a little necessary for
John,
this.
will you swear on your daughter's life about things?
If there's something that absolutely
really?
did that I didn't do?
I agree with Scott. Like, I would not. I think it's like
if you don't,
I'll do on my own life, but to do it on other people, it's just I don't like.
Why do you think something will happen to them?
I just don't. I think it's like it's exploiting is not the right word, but it doesn't feel right to me. To do
I
it.
don't
because you think something will happen to them.
No.
I don't deny I do that in that bathroom, and I told you I reserved that for no-show days.
So here's the question.
You guys
here's
are
the question. Here's the time. No, here's the timeline.
You guys are all liars.
Hold on.
No, I'm going to be the bathroom cop. Trust me. Everyone's bathroom habits are getting reported back on the air.
Here's
Jason. If I ever go at work, I always go in here. I never go back there ever.
Okay, John. Okay.
I mean,
I will be keeping.
You're trying to cast doubt on it, but why would I lie about it?
Don't you have your work job?
You're lying
to do?
right now because I saw you walk into the bathroom 2 days ago. Now maybe you're going in there to take a piss.
I've
maybe
never
you're going in there to
take a dump. Take a dump. That's what I'm saying. No, I pee in there all the time.
But here's the timeline. Scott Salem in at 11:19, Jason Kaplan in at 11:27, Benjy in at 11:30, me in at 11:32. It's not me. I can guarantee because I'm the one who reported.
Well, based on Jason's logic, how can we prove that?
Because I'd be a moron to report it.
You could be a brilliant.
So it's got to be one of the three, and I don't see the timing working out for it to be Jason or Benjy.
I'm not bragging when I says it takes more than 3 minutes for me to shit. Like that's an embarrassing thing to admit.
Okay.
And it's not something I'm proud of. So when I come on here and say I couldn't have shit in 3 minutes, it's not how I go to the bath. That would be like an emergency shit. That means I ran in there, pulled my pants down, did my business, and that's just not how I shit.
Wait, so Jason, are you saying now that you definitely weren't the shitter?
I can't say that because I don't know if and when I shit on Wednesday. And quite frankly, I feel I'm the only person being honest when they say they can't remember their
Jason,
No, I remember.
I can remember I didn't shit on Wednesday.
I can't remember what if I shit on
okay.
Thursday. I
that's
can't remember if I shit on
okay.
Friday.
Here's the thing. I'm with Howard on this one. I can remember the last time I made a number 2 in that bathroom because I try not to, and there's an awareness of that it's not supposed to happen in there.
Don't take this the wrong way. I'm at work here,
right,
at least twice as long.
No, I got it.
During the day and during the days where there's no show, Thursdays and Fridays. Okay, I believe my relationship with the office is slightly different than yours or Howard's relationship with the office. I spend more time here Monday through Friday than I do in my own house. So yes, I have a different relationship, I think, with the bathroom and remembering every time I use it than I would if you're only here for 5-6 hours every morning, 3 days a week.
Is the bathroom aware of the relationship?
The bathroom is very aware of our relationship.
And we're all aware of the relationship as well. Jeff in Pennsylvania, you're on the wrap-up show.
Well, it just all goes back to the same thing. Everything's pointing to Jason, but Gary and his favorite line. Oh, I got to defend Jason on this one.
Well, how is everything pointing to Jason? Listen, hold on. Let me finish my sentence. Look at the timing. The timing just doesn't make sense. I'm not saying he emphatically didn't do it. I'm saying the timing doesn't seem to work.
Scott, are you positive?
Like you just said with everybody else, you remember when you took a shit in there. Scott said he didn't. Benjy said he didn't. But you'll still say, I can't, I'll defend Jason on this one. And you come in there and at least 15 times I can remember that was your first line.
Did you have any gas on Wednesday, possibly?
Nobody cares what you think.
Let me clarify this. I didn't take a shit in there, but
you won't
it is
swear
possible.
on your kid's life about it.
Right.
All right, I'll swear on my kid's life I didn't take a shit in there.
But it is
possible that someone had violent gas.
Yeah.
I mean, do you ever?
Did you possibly have violent gas?
Did you ever have gas when you pee?
Of course.
Well, okay, there's the answer.
But
okay?
did you possibly have
Is
violent gas?
that what happened to you? Is that what you're saying?
No,
you had
I
violent
didn't
gas
shit.
when you pee?
I don't remember.
Gas,
I don't remember. I know I didn't shit. Okay, I can tell you I didn't shit.
This wasn't a cloud. This was a wall.
I didn't shit.
Do you know the difference? You walk into a fart cloud, but then it's it's a cloud, and you can move away from it. This was a shit wall.
Well, I didn't do it.
John in Cleveland, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, John.
Listen, there's no doubt about it. Okay, Benjy, I don't like you, but I believe that you didn't do it.
Thank you,
Jason, you're all right, brother. And if you weren't, I would tell you did it. You didn't do it, Scott. You fat lying piece of shit. Just
thank you very much.
Own up to it. You did it.
I'm telling you.
The timeline is there.
No, there's no time. The timeline means I entered. You don't know how long I was in there. So tell me how long I was in there, and then I'll tell you I took a shit.
Scott, do I have to get video?
Did you ever fart when you pee? Come on, Scott. You
Hey,
took
Scott,
a
I
shit.
do have a question. Why were you there for like
There's nothing wrong with taking a shit.
minutes
Everybody
if you
does.
were
Nothing
just...
He
wrong
wasn't. Hold on. He wasn't there for 9. All we know is what time he went in. There's no way to know when he left.
We need like a photo.
Well, actually, there is a way you can know. If you do get the video, you can see when somebody left.
Well, we don't have video that's on the bathroom door. We only have it of the hallway.
But Scott's got to pass by to go back to where
There
he
should be
works.
like an automatic photograph when you sit down on it.
Again, if I knew I did it, like if I knew, like, yeah,
Me
I
too.
shit really bad on Wednesday and I left first of all, I would admit it. Number one, like flat out, I'd be like, yeah, I fucking did it, caught red-handed. I just don't remember, but I will take you through my shitting process since everyone seems so interested in it.
I'm not that interested.
Some people just
Please don't.
That's all right. I try, unless it's an emergency, which I can count on my fingers the amount of times it's been an emergency, and there wasn't one last Wednesday. That I could state. That I don't like using that bathroom to do a number 2 while the show is on, and 11:30 is still showtime because all of Howard TV is here. All the radio guys are still here. There's people knocking on the door every 3 seconds. It's not a comfortable situation.
Right.
And I know this about myself, that when I do it, it's in the afternoon. I prefer not to use
the thing out here either because it's smelly and there's 500 other people shitting. So again, unless it was an emergency, that would be breaking my normal habit to go at 11:30 in the morning.
But 11:30 was not showtime.
No, people are still around
until 12. Everybody's.
You know what?
Here.
A lot of the Howard
crazy.
TV guys were talking about this. If any of you guys want to come down here and point the finger, now is the time because everyone seems to be denying their participation in this. Scott,
what do you mean?
Michigan.
What do you mean?
The Howard TV guys were saying when certain people leave, you can smell it, and they can speak for themselves. Scott, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, I love how everybody's just passing over the fact that Gary didn't do it. Gary, what a great offense. You took a shit that smelled so bad that you even were afraid to let anybody know you might have done it.
That's it.
Great.
You caught me.
That's awesome.
I swear on the life of my children that you're a douchebag.
I mean, it does fall
great,
into
Gary.
those who dealt it, smelt it argument, Gary. Guy does have a point.
I swear on the life of my children, happily, that I did not take a shit in there.
Jason, I respect the fact that you admit that you go in there, and you're actually coming clean about that.
Yes.
But ultimately, I think this is pointing towards you. Because you said you gone there, you can't remember. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Benjy, who knows? And Scott, I mean, he swore on the life of his kid, and he never does that.
What do you mean? Who knows with me? I listen. Whether you believe
That's for
it or
everything.
not,
We say that about you for everything.
I'm giving you a definitive thing. I did not do it. I completely remember. I completely remember walking in there and the smell.
Gary, I beg you now, go pull the videotape from the hallway. I want to know exactly how long I was.
And
in
if you get the video,
I don't need to know.
See,
No, I want to know exactly when I left.
And
I
you'll
want to
see
know if I'm
my
not
reaction
in there. If I'm
when I
not in
walked
there for
like,
a minimum of a
pulling
minute and a
back.
half, I did not shit. End of story.
Well, it's hard to because you may not have come right back by the camera. You might have gone and chatted with somebody right.
No,
after
isn't that camera right in the hall?
No, you got to come down. It's
Well, we
not
need
on the
better
bathroom
cameras, though.
door.
You can't disprove a negative. I can't go on here and say, oh, well, 100% wasn't me. Or I can't sit here with 100% not me. I feel I'm the only one being honest, admitting that they take shits in the bathroom. Sorry, I don't believe these two guys when they say they don't remember.
Jason,
That's my
I do remember. Opinion. I did not defecate here on Wednesday. I absolutely remember that.
Okay, we'll take your word for it. I mean, that's all you're asking us to do is take your word for it.
You're right, but
Okay.
don't say it like it's not.
I don't take
maybe
your word for
I believe that you don't. It's not that unusual for people to remember when they shit and where they shit. It's not that rare.
Maybe it's rare that I'm the one that doesn't remember when they shit. I don't know. I don't keep a logbook. I know I shit this morning before I came to work. That's the last shit I remember taking.
And what was the problem with
How long did you take?
What was the problem with
Too
the
long.
with
I
the
was waiting.
newspapers? You were being accused
So a while ago, like I'm talking a year and a half ago, Tracy came up to me and started talking to me loudly about newspapers in the bathroom because I do take newspapers in the bathroom, as do several other people here. I won't name them. But she was saying that I was reading the papers and leaving them on the side. I wasn't. I was reading the paper and throwing them out. And I told her that at the time. And I told her who I thought it was that was leaving the papers stacked up. And she confronted that person. Then a year later, I'm sitting in the hall. I'm talking to Tim's assistant, Sarah.
Who's very cute. You need to know that.
Very cute. And we're talking about work. And Tracy comes barreling out of her office in her Tracy way and starts screaming about, me and my fucking shits, and she's had enough of it, and I leave the papers, and blah, blah, blah. And I got pissed, not because she was wrong, which she was, but because I'm sitting here and I'm just trying to talk to a girl in the hallway, and now my stories about my shit are being thrown out everywhere. I didn't appreciate that. I didn't think it was necessary. Tracy and I are fine. But it's not me. It's not me. And now I go and I report every time I see a newspaper in the bathroom. I report on it.
Did you address that with her? How when you were talking to Sarah, you felt sort of uncomfortable?
I don't. You know what? I yelled. She yelled. We both didn't talk for a day, and then we both pretended it never happened.
Did you try to explain it to Sarah at all that you don't really?
No, Sarah was gone by the time Tracy and I were done yelling at each other.
Did you guys ever see the episode of How I Met Your Mother where Jason Segel does a whole plot line about how when he walks to the bathroom with a magazine, everybody knows he's going to take a shit?
Yeah, he went to the other building and he had to hide it.
Tom Chiasano had a whole edict about it at K-Rock. Sales guys weren't allowed to bring newspapers into the bathroom. It was a whole thing.
Tracy, I know there's been issues with this bathroom really from the get-go. Has it gotten any better, or do you think people are still disrespecting the
It got better
privilege?
for a while. People were paying a little more attention when they were leaving, cleaning things up off the seats. But like last week, I mean, the pubes have started all over again. There was just urine all over the floor. And
How's that possible?
It was all over the inside of the you could see the urine. Like, all you had to do was walk in and you could see it on the floor.
Both Scott and Benjy do say they pee in the bathroom all the time. They're on record for that. Not me.
Trace, what was this issue you had with Jason?
God, I don't even want to call it an issue because it's not anymore. We've discussed it. It's gone. But basically somebody, and Jason says it's not him, so if he says it's not him, so be it. goes in there, takes the paper, and then leaves it in there after they shit. That's fine if you want to read the paper in there when you shit. Many people do it. I get it. But take it with you when you go. Nobody wants your shitty paper. Don't leave it in there and tell me, oh, this one's going to want to read it. That one's going to want to read it. No one's going to want to read it. And I know this because they pile up, and by Friday there's 5 papers sitting there that no one has touched because they're shitty papers, and nobody wants to touch a shitty paper.
So whoever's doing this isn't performing a public service like they think they are.
No, they're being lazy because they can't put their hand 3 feet to the left and stick it in the dumpster. They have to leave it on the counter.
And after Tracy and I had this incident, I started to report to her every time I saw a paper left. And you know what? Again, not to sound like a snob, but they're all USA Todays. And I mean, I'm fucking wasting my time on that shit.
I don't read that paper either.
They actually, I have to say though, they became USA Today's after we had the discussion. Before that, it was the New York Post.
That is some master. Well, I get my New York Post electronically, so it would be on my iPad.
I will
Daily News would be the only one I don't get.
I will tell you how little a sense of humor Tracy has when it comes to the bathroom. She complained to me once that there were pubes in there, and I cracked a joke that she did not find funny. And I said, hey, if you shake the tree hard enough, a few leaves will fall off. She's like, that's disgusting.
And Tracy, you're just disgusted by all this, yes?
Just your bathroom habits. Just, you know, if you're at home and, you know, your wife cleans your bathroom, your cleaning lady cleans your bathroom. I'm not your wife, I'm not your cleaning lady. We do have a maid at night, and I get it. That's what she's there for. But that's at night. We're there all day from 6 a.m. on. By 12 o'clock, it's disgusting. It's disgusting in there.
I'm way more put out by the piss on the floor than I am by the shit.
It was gross.
I mean, listen, lean down and use a fucking towel and clean it up if you can.
I'm still put off that we found a pebble there once that we could never identify who it belonged to.
A pebble?
Yeah, we found a little shit pebble. You don't remember that?
Oh, a shit pebble. I thought you meant.
Can we just take a step back for a second? It's one thing to shit, and I'm not trying to get this off me because I still don't think it was me that did it, but it's one thing to shit and leave a smell. It's another thing to piss on the floor, see yourself piss on the floor, and then walk away. That, to me, that's crazy. That is like, pick up a fucking paper towel, bend down, and fucking do what you got to do. Don't leave piss on the floor.
Do you think there's any chance that somebody pees and doesn't know they hit the floor?
Yes.
Not this time. Not this time. No
you know
way.
what? I've done it before. I've missed, whatever. But I've cleaned up afterwards. I go, oh shit, and I get a paper towel and
I've only ever missed, to the best of my knowledge, like when I was so drunk. And I haven't been that drunk here.
No, because I know what Tracy's talking about, and I've seen it. I didn't come running, but now I will. I'm going to come running to everybody.
By the way,
you walk in, you see there's a puddle underneath the fucking toilet, and it happens
it's somebody who doesn't drink a lot of water because it is bright yellow. You can't miss it.
Somebody who might drink a very green vegetable drink.
And by the way, speaking of our public bathroom, last week I don't remember if it was Thursday or Friday, and I know I was taking a piss because I was at the urinal, but I was standing in a puddle of water. I mean, it was just the whole thing was all the urinals were under 3 inches.
Yeah. We've had these issues. We had these issues at K-Rock in the public bathroom too. The men's bathrooms are just by nature disgusting.
That K-Rock bathroom was nasty.
You have no idea. I mean, we found somebody was shaving in there. We weren't even sure it was mustache hair. We thought it might have been pubes. It was so fucking gross.
Who do you think these newspapers are pointing to, Gary?
USA Today? Well, I couldn't say. You mean who on the staff can't read a paper well enough unless there's graphs and pictures?
Lots of colors.
I got to think about that. Hey, it's Gary Dell'Abate, Baba Booey. On Tuesday's wrap-up show, we talked to the guy who goes on Craigslist and gets laid like crazy. That, of course, led us to talking to Benjy about his exploits on Craigslist. And then Ronnie came in and we talked about his alter ego, Rhonda, and how Rhonda likes a finger in her ass a little bit, not all the way. Here's how it all went.
Our guest on the phone today, Aaron, who was the conqueror of Craigslist, I guess, and he talked about how he's not a particularly good-looking guy, but he knew how to play this game very well. And Benjy, before you came in, we were saying today was the most eloquent. You were right on mic. You're an expert in this field.
You took the straightest line to get to your point.
Yeah, right. That came across very clearly. But you seemed. Could you vouch for him in a sense? Like, do you believe everything he said was true? All of his stories, all that stuff can happen?
Absolutely. And it's like I've said, it's if someone wants to figure it out, it works.
It's very interesting because interviewing him today was not that different from that night that we all went out to dinner with you, and everybody at the table was interviewing you, and that's how I knew this guy was telling the truth, because what he talked about sounded a lot like what you talked about.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in the right place, like you said, small towns, I can't imagine it working. But if you're in a place with a big enough it's all a numbers game, and it's a niche marketing and knowing how to play it.
Right. So you're appealing to these fantasies, and if somebody bites, you're in business. But you did have an issue with the picture, right? Well,
he said like, use a picture that looks like you. I think for an uglier guy, that's not as. I would use one your best for a guy. For a girl, you should use. Well, for a guy, should use his best picture.
And a girl should use her not
Well, it
so
depends.
best?
Well, for dating purpose, this is different. For dating, a girl should use her worst picture. But for just purely hooking up, a guy should definitely use his best picture.
And is part of the element sort of like the unknown, like you don't know who's going to show up at the door, and is that part of the
there's an exciting like walking somewhere in the middle, in 2 a.m. and in some like it's kind of scary but kind of exciting.
I was blown away by the show up with a blindfold,
turn around.
That's just, to me, that just has trouble written all over it.
Have you done something like that?
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, I would wait blindfolded and no, but I've told the guys here before, and this was years ago, and I played into girls like rape fantasies, and I was always very worried. If you go to what if someone's, which now there's been several cases where people have set people up and they've gone to the wrong apartment.
Right. How can you prove your innocence?
Well, the guy said he never. Girls don't do that initially. There's a lot of girls that are into that fantasy that do that, and I would always kind of whisper first, like, wait, this is really you. You're really into it. I wouldn't just start, doing it.
Ronnie, what do you think of this Craigslist stuff? Would you give this a shot back in the day?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I don't know. You never know what you're walking into. It's too risky for me. I wouldn't do it.
Benjy, what would you say was, aside from that, what would you say was back in the day was the most dangerous situation you ever in, where you got the most nervous or anything?
In projects, not once in the apartment, but all of a sudden you realize between floors on the elevator that people coming in and out of the elevator that can be very scary.
Like you'd be in an apartment on a street with 3 digits and on the 44th floor.
Yeah.
Did you ever turn around in the middle and say, I can't go through with this? And
if I met the girl and the girl was something was really off about her, absolutely.
But what would be off? What would scare you away? I'm not talking about if you meet a girl and you didn't like her looks, that I get. Have you ever not had sex with a girl because there was
hairy stomach?
No, there was something that scared you, or something that what do you call it? Your spidey sense should go on. Is that what he said?
No, it was usually more about looks. Always, if the girl's hot, I could get through fear.
Hey, did you ever walk into a situation? You walked in, the girl was real hot and everything, and you found out she had a cock.
No, but I
have you, Ronnie?
No, I'm just asking a question because anything's possible because you get the transvestites who.
Well, no, but I have been in
kind
situations.
Too,
I talked about once on the air where I got there. And then I did realize, holy fuck, this is a dude.
And so that's
that's what I'm asking you.
Well, okay, there was one.
Was it a girl? You thought it was a girl?
There was a situation years ago. I talked about this. I called in the show before I worked here. This was before Craigslist. This was from a phone line, and I went to the apartment in the middle of the night.
Oh my god!
And I was sitting on her bed, and all of a sudden I realized this is a guy. All of a sudden I was like, there's no way this isn't a guy.
But it looked like a girl when you walked in. You thought it was a chick.
I thought it was a chick.
Did you reach down to check?
No. But then she said to me because she said that she was living at her parents' house. She said, you can't leave. I started telling her I'm not comfortable with this. I have to go. And she's like, my parents will wake up. You can't leave. And I just started getting really scared. So
what'd you do?
I started talking about my girlfriend. And I said I had a girlfriend. And I felt so bad that I was cheating on her. And then this guy is starts oh my God, that's so sweet. And he's cradling me. And I had to just sit there for a couple hours and talk about how guilty I felt till my parents.
Was he a big guy? Could he have raped you or something? Or?
No. It was.
Did you feel when you were in the hug that if you wanted to leave, it would be difficult because of the strength?
I started getting scared because I started looking around the room. There was all kinds of satanic symbols.
Oh my God!
Skulls. And
so you should have looked at that before you got.
Yeah, you didn't notice that right away.
Hey, Ronnie, beforehand, when we were talking about this, when you went in as Rhonda, when talking with JD, and the finger in your ass came up, you always clarify and you make sure that everyone understands what you're talking about. Why is that?
What do you mean?
Rhonda kept talking about the way she likes a finger in her ass, and I found that very amusing.
Got to go in easy.
Not too tight.
Yeah, well, you don't want you just shove it in there. I mean, you gotta be easy, right? Right there, JD.
I don't. You tell me. You're the expert.
Well, I'm Rhonda.
No, I don't know what the hell you are. Does there have to be lube involved, Rhonda, with a finger?
No.
Or dry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Rhonda.
And
Yeah.
fingernails, make sure you clip your fingernails.
And file them.
JD, is this all too creepy for you, the Craigslist thing, or because it sounds like Benjy said it's pretty much a sure thing if you play your cards
I know,
right.
and I've had friends, I've seen the girls, they ended up hooking up with them, and it's just not. I'm just not into it. It's very, I'm very leery of the situation. It's like, the guy that called in saying a guy ended up showing up to his room. Like that's what I would think would happen to me because I know my luck.
Is it because you have to put the work in? Because this isn't the girls just don't show
there's
up.
that. I am very lazy, so there's a whole, yeah.
But do you think that girls are just going to want to bang you? You got to put some work in, right?
No, I know. No, I know that.
At least put a bag of popcorn in a movie.
No, I know. I'm just. I know.
Even if it's in your hotel room.
The impression I got from Benjy is if you throw enough lines out in a city this size, you're going to hook up every night. So how come you don't want to throw the lines out?
Huh?
How come you don't want to throw the lines out?
I just don't, and because I don't think I would have Benji's luck, and I just.
But I don't think Benjy had luck. I think he was just throwing a lot of lines out.
I think I'm good at once I was talking to a girl, talk to a girl, but it's much more. And now JD, I think should just do Facebook. I mean, there's chicks that love him that he could easily, if he wanted to date or wanted to get laid anytime, he could.
I'm not saying I of course I've had chicks on Facebook, and I don't really need Craigslist.
I think JD only approves girls as friends on Facebook, right?
For the most part, yeah. Unless I know the guy.
Because I get emails from fans who are like, "Oh, JD wouldn't approve me. He said only chicks."
Oh, hey, listen, sorry.
But online is much more efficient than dating. And I think a regular guy can get much hotter girls much easier.
Jay, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, that's Ron, first-time caller. So I was looking at this guy, give his spiel today, and was a little skeptical. And then Benjy chimed in and said that he'd had success as well. About 3 years ago, I was just leaving a relationship and decided to turn to Craigslist. I'm sure it was late at night. But basically it was all phishing scams. Like all the what I thought were girls I was reaching out to, where my email inbox was inundated with like, go to this site to check out my pictures, and basically became unusable. So I'm wondering, has Benjy run into this problem at all?
Well, I don't do it anymore. But yeah, it's like you would get 70% of the responses would be bullshit, but you put things in to see if it's a real response, and you weed through that. That's it's not that hard.
So
where do you live? Also,
there's some amount of work.
Where do you live?
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, yeah.
I think JD might have got discouraged too by that guy that made the film for the Howard Film Festival.
Oh, when he got fooled.
I'm discouraged by it seems like every girl I talk to, they just want to talk on the air and whatnot. I just don't want to talk to anyone. It makes me not want to discuss anything with anyone.
That is the cool thing. I mean, you could go on something like that and not be JD.
Oh, Rick, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, guys. I don't dislike Ronnie Mund, but to me he's like the Korean nurse on MASH. It's like a little bit of him, okay, but sometimes Ronnie has to be in there every single time. Ronnie, you got to pull back, man. It's too much.
Rick says you got to pull back a little there, Ronnie.
That doesn't sound like Rick. The voice sounds very familiar.
It is Rick.
It is Rick from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't dislike you, Ronnie, but it's all...
Look, dude, I don't really care if you like me or you don't like me. I'm not in here every day. I'm in here when they talk about me on the air. John asked me to come in. I'm in. If you don't like it, don't listen to me. Nobody asked you to fucking listen to me,
Well,
dude.
I have to listen to you.
No, you
You're on
don't
the
have
air,
to
you
listen to me.
dumbass.
No, you don't, you dumbass.
Rick, do you
Somebody put a gun to your goddamn head.
Rick, do you think Ronnie's popularity has sort of gotten in the way of others' fame here, or people may be a little jealous?
I think his popularity is a myth, and I think he's taking too much airtime. And for Sal and Richard, I wouldn't try.
Dude, I was invited in here, you moron. I don't come in here every day.
Too much, Ronnie.
Well, too much of you, Rick. Go get a fucking job.
Gary, do you think Richard and Sal may be jealous of Ronnie's ascent?
No.
I love Ronnie. I was cutting up isolated Ronnie yelling clips today, so we're big fans of Ronnie.
We just put together that great funeral bit about Ronnie.
That's awesome, dude.
And we love
I've
that.
been playing that for everybody.
And I could hear stories about Ronnie getting fingers in his ass every freaking day.
And I could watch
love
you
it.
blow yourself all the time. It's great.
Who doesn't love their grandparents? Come on.
Yeah.
We love Ronnie.
On Wednesday's wrap-up show, all the talk was about hoarding. Matt, who cleans up after the hoarders, called in, and Gary, Ronnie, really everyone had stories about how they or their moms hoard, and this is how that conversation went.
We learned a lot about hoarding today and the perils of hoarding, and we're going to dig in here and see who, besides Gary's mom and Ronnie's mom, falls into that category of major hoarder. Well, let's start off, though, with Matt Paxton, who called in. He cleans up after the hoarders that you see on the show, on the A&E show, and we were all glued to our radios because he just had one experience after the other in terms of grossness and what he's got to deal with.
Yeah, I got to throw this one totally to Will. We all got the email, and I looked at it, and I was like, I didn't really see what the guest could be in it. And then Will hit me back, and he goes, "I'll bet you he's got some great stories. Let me pre-interview him." And then, when he came back with the oozing gooey cats,
Yes.
that's when I knew he'd be a good guest. But he was good on the air too.
I thought he was very good, but and that was some nasty stuff, Will, that we heard about.
Yeah, it was great. Benjy said I don't know about the guy, and I pre-interviewed him, and he had an amazing story. I mean, all you got to hear is 45,000 pounds of poop in somebody's house, and, I'm hooked right there.
I thought that, to me, the line of the day was when he was talking about all the bugs in that one house, and he said, yeah, we were putting cotton in our ears and sealing up our assholes.
Tape their assholes shut.
I mean, imagine that's what you do for a living, and you're laying in bed one night and a bug crawls out of your ass.
It's like being in High Pitch Mike's house.
He did say recovering addicts, though, enjoy the job. I guess there's a new thrill every day. You're dealing with hazardous crap like that.
And that's a whole other thing that I thought was really interesting about him. Forget about the cleanup part. The fact that he hires convicts, ex-convicts, and he says he had a great line. That he goes, "I like them when they're right on the line. Like if they sneeze, they could go back to jail. Those are the kind I like."
Now, do you think that, does it surprise you, one, how much money he makes doing it, and...
He doesn't make enough money.
No, I think he's underpaid, but when he said that the hoarding provides a wall of safety for the people who do it, do you believe that? I mean, do you think that's why people do it? I mean, was that why your mom did it?
Yeah, my mom wasn't good enough to be on the show by any stretch of the imagination. She was like a hoarder, like on a lower level. But no, she was more collecting stuff that she really thought she was going to get to. She really felt that she was going to utilize the stuff. The people who are behind a wall, that's a whole other area, and I don't know what they're thinking.
Now, do you collect stuff? I know you collect stuff,
I do.
But are you a hoarder? Would you could classify yourself as a hoarder?
I'm not a hoarder, but I am a collector. And I do collect stuff, and I'm not talking about I collect animation cells and I collect sports memorabilia. I have piles of shit around my house. I just cleaned up the other day. I had a closet full of electronics equipment that I was sure I was going to use one day that's valuable. And I looked at it the other day and I go, you know what? This is all. I have stuff that doesn't even have HDMI inputs on them anymore. So I have everything in a big pile, and I'm getting rid of them this weekend.
Will you get rid of it? Or
I will. Although I do have to say, I pulled it out of the closet 2 weeks ago, so it's moved to I'm going to get rid of it, but it's not that easy to just take it and get rid of it. So I do have a little bit of that in me. I have to move it from A to B and then finally to the dump.
And what about Mary? Does she keep stuff or she wants to get rid of it right away?
Get rid of it all.
Yeah,
too much shit. Get rid of it.
That's the same with me and Deb. I'll want to keep everything and she'll just want to get rid of it. What about you, Will? You hoarding a lot of stuff in that New Jersey house?
No, not at all. If I don't use something for a few months, I'm ready to get rid of it. Pretty good about that.
Did you see on CBS Sunday Morning this past weekend, they showed a guy that works on the show, and he's like us. He's got a basement full of shit. So it turns out that in all of this crap that he's got McDonald's toys from the 80s that are still in the package and keeps telling his wife they're valuable, he had, turns out, Billy Bean's Mud Hens jersey. So that's valuable. So now he's convinced his wife because he found one valuable thing in the pile of shit that they can't throw anything away.
Who do you think the worst hoarder is around here, just in terms of their office space? Who keeps the most stuff laying around?
Well, Benjy, when Benjy did what Will used to do, I never really questioned him on how he did it, but he had lots of envelopes coming out of it. It didn't seem like there was a system at all, and there was just a lot of paper. So I think he's probably a bit of a hoarder.
Yeah, I definitely have hoarding tendencies for and it's for two things. It's either anything with potential value. I'll have 4 tubes of toothpaste, and if there's still a little bit left, oh wow, I gotta finish this. I gotta finish it. And the other thing is anything potentially sentimental or that like leads to a memory, it's very hard. And that can be a shirt. That can be a T-shirt. It's very hard to just throw it. I love when something's absolutely destroyed and I can throw it out and not have any feelings towards it.
I have a Bruce Springsteen shirt from the River Tour that I washed once and now wouldn't fit on a 7-year-old, and I won't throw it away.
Yeah, because it means something to you.
Well, I think I'm going to sell it on eBay, but I went on eBay and it's completely fucking worthless. And at one point, I tried to make one of my kids wear it. They looked at it and they go, I'm not wearing that.
Atif, you're on the wrap-up show.
Yes, good morning. I have a quick question. I was on hold when Matt was on Stern, but he never got to my call. And I'm really curious, and maybe one of you guys can answer the question, how does hoarding equate to filth? You know, like I understand hoarding is saving a lot of things or collecting a lot of items, but why are hoarders so dirty? Like the houses, they don't have water. Like the guy said, they crap in the blankets and piss in bottles. What is that all about?
I can tell you this much: with my mother and the guy I was talking about, my friend's father with all the Maxwell House coffee cans, and even Ronnie seemed to say the same thing. They weren't dirty. They collected stuff. They hadn't gotten to that next level. Like my mom was very clean, and if she found something that was like dirt, always won out over hoarding. If she would have found where the boxes were, and there was like mouse droppings there, she just would have thrown it all away.
My guess is like the guy who's talking about that has shit, feces literally all over his house. My guess is that's not a hoarder. That's just like because I bet there are not people that are saying, oh my God, you can't take away my feces. Like I might need this for something, or I'll forget something.
They're just a casualty almost.
I would think of something else.
You know who the original hoarders were? Remember that movie Grey Gardens? Those people that were the Jackie Kennedys. They had this house in the Hamptons. It was this beautiful house, and you couldn't. I don't know if you ever saw the movie, but like newspapers piled to the ceiling. Al Goldstein was a big hoarder. I went to his apartment once. He opened up a room, and it was all pieces of watches that he was working on repairing, but there was no sense to it at all. And it was a room that had been rendered useless because of all the shit he had put in it.
And is that the two New York brothers you were talking about? I was reading about them. They're like the famous hoarders. One was crushed to death by scrap in his place, and the other one literally could not get out of the apartment and starved to death.
That's crazy. That's a whole other place.
Thanks for calling in, Atif. Mike in Illinois, you're on the wrap-up show.